Boom. What's up, boys? Yo. All right.
So somehow, I don't know how this has happened, but the Ashes of Creation lawsuit has just actually gotten a lot more serious.
This is juicy, boys. I
Here
wanted
we
to
go.
start
Let's
off
watch
with
it.
this because
Because
you know I love Ashes of Creation. I knew this was coming, man. That shit's. I mean, I feel like it was in reach. Like it wasn't too ambitious of a project, but at the same time, expecting all that of an MMO and then not to be some sort of rug pull or microtransaction cash grab fucking subscription fucking bullshit scam, like with the cost of everything only increasing, it's just making it fucking harder for us gamers to actually get an MMO that's not driven by a bunch of scammers at this point. If it wasn't conceived before like 2005, like just won't be a thing anymore. It won't survive. It's kind of retarded how everything, literally almost everything, every MMO that's came out has literally fell on its face in like no time.
Maybe I'll even sue you, the viewer, just for the hell of it. 'Cause today it's time to find out about what's up with Ashes of Creation and how it imploded. Things have gotten much messier over the last few weeks. Intrepid, we're supposed to have a live stream on the 13th of February to showcase the future
Oh yeah, whatever happened with that? I guess it didn't happen.
of the game, but there was the slight problem that everyone
being shut
working
down.
there was laid off with no pay
Yeah.
or no severance.
Ooh, not
What
so
people
good.
want is clarity on what happened. People have not gotten that,
I
but
wonder
what we
why.
have got is loads of lawsuits and a hell of a story for us to go through today. Staff are suing Intrepid, investors are planning
Yep.
suits against creative director and former CEO Stephen Sharif,
I
and
bet.
Sharif himself has delivered on his promise because he's also brought legal action against the people he claims have stolen the company from him in a
Wow. So he's suing. Holy shit.
multi-year scam designed to end with them being on top. It's quite a lot. Now,
Oh, so
these
basically
are
they're
freshly
saying
filed suits, and they only reflect the events and
they
the
stole the
opinions of
company,
each
but they
plaintiff,
didn't
right?
actually
So it
steal the
reflects
company, they
what
just stole the
they want to
company
put forward. You
as
need
an
to remember
excuse
that
to
everyone is going to make themselves look
to
good,
steal the money.
and the people that they're suing look awful. That's how these things go. So today, we're actually not discussing reality. We are discussing allegations. And boy, are there some damning allegations to discuss. Let's begin with the staff. And the good news is, this is the most clear-cut bit of legal action. As early as February 4th, laid-off developers were filing class action lawsuits arguing that Intrepid broke the WARN Act, issuing notices,
Yep.
and then immediately firing everyone. They're
Which
demanding
seems like that was true.
unpaid wages, severance, and the lost 60 days
Yeah,
of
some of
notice,
this
plus
stuff
a
has
ruling
to
that the
be
layoffs
actually
were
true.
illegal. The question
At some
then
point
is
it
who
just
bears
becomes-
responsibility, and
Frivolous and unlawful and shit. To try to stop the people who actually have the argument.
this is where everyone else's lawsuits come in. See, I
Yeah,
told
it's nobody's fault, right?
you
Of course.
the employee bit would really be the clear-cut one. Now we're going to get into murky waters. But
Based-
TFE Games Holdings LLC sued Stephen Sharif and his husband John Moore on February 9th, as spotted by Theory
I didn't know this at all.
who's doing
This is new.
fantastic work surfacing all of this as it happens.
Holy
so
shit.
TFE now owns Intrepid and the assets of Ashes of Creation. and
His
they claim that
husband.
Sharif has actively withheld
Gage.
documents, passwords, and more,
I knew they were
breaching his fiduciary
saying that. I
duty
already
to the
thought of
company
it.
and to the board. And this
His
is apparently why
Uh-huh.
staff haven't been paid and why the warrant obligations are not being met, because they quite literally can't get to the funds. And on top of that, Sharif allegedly did not warn the board about a $3.5 million credit claim on incoming Steam revenue. And
That's huge. So he didn't say that because there was. I'm assuming that there was a credit claim that they had from the bank that basically didn't do that.
filing also alleges that between 10 and 20 million dollars of the 130 million raised for Ashes of Creation
Yeah.
are unexplained, unrecorded,
What?
quote, misappropriations. And
What?
then there are the loans.
10
About
to 20 million
$362 grand to Sharif, 6.7 million to Moore, and 4.86 million in
Wait,
undocumented
defendant Sharif made or caused to be made certain unauthorized transfers to himself totaling $4.8 million with no documentation or indication that such transfers, whether such transfers were a loan, salary, fee, reimbursements, shareholder distribution, or gift. The quote Sharif transfers.
personal transfers to Sharif
Wow.
and 8.5 million to purchase a property that was then sold with the loan never being repaid.
What
so,
the fuck?
that's a lot of allegations.
Sold the property for $8.5 million and never repaid the company?
It seems there's a lot of money moving around
What
with
the
record
fuck?
keeping that doesn't adequately explain it. So, TFE are
Oh my
demanding
God.
repayment of outstanding loans, plus the documents they legally
Plaintiffs
believe
entitled
are
to judgment
theirs,
relief. Yeah, of
going
course.
so far as to get a temporary restraining order that would compel turnover and prevent deletion.
Jesus.
Quite a lot. And much of this aligns with a viral video from YouTuber Nephis QS,
Oh
who
my
was
God.
approached by investor Jason Karamanis. Now,
Uh-huh.
Karamanis is not currently named in any of these lawsuits.
Yeah, yeah.
He's just providing evidence and his account of events. Now,
Uh-huh.
he claims that he introduced Stephen Sharif to Robert Dawson, a major backer, and helped secure the funding that led to Dawson contributing $80 million in total. Because, well, money follows money.
Yeah,
If you're
of
going to
course.
contribute a lot of money, it will certainly look good if others have done similar.
Yeah, sure.
But in a way, that's the boring numbers. What's more engaging is that this was an hour of sweary, very angry conversation, including calling Sharif and Moore, quote, insane pathological narcissists. So there is no
What
love
the
lost
fuck?
between
Wait, let me read this. Stephen and his husband John stole money out of the company and paid a certain amount of money a year salaries each, plus paid for their San Diego house when they purchased with investors' money after John took out the deposit on his San Diego home. All I can say about Stephen and John is that they both had insane pathological narcissists that convinced people that they were fucking ballers with mega millions in the bank when he had not put one penny into the company. So all this shit about him putting all the money into the company is 1,000% false and a lie. Oh my God.
Sharif and Moore, quote, insane
Wow,
pathological narcissists. So
That's-
there is no
that's a
love
lot.
lost
Didn't
between
expect that.
Karamanis and Sharif. However, allegedly, there are millions of dollars lost. This is stuff lost to him based on personal investments, while he's claiming that Sharif never invested a cent of his own money. Karamanis claims that Sharif and Moore paid themselves 500 grand a year and alleges that Sharif's warning to Commerce West Bank was to protect a loan on their home by ensuring that the Steam revenue couldn't be used for staff payroll. So that would be the credit stuff in the Steam revenue. If true, that's quite wild, isn't it? Now, he claims to know this because he says he's got data, and Karamanis shared financial documentation and personal
The
text.
next $1 billion game. What is he saying? The next $1 billion game I'm announcing tonight? Oh my God. You get an early sneak peek.
Text with Nephis QS showing a total
What?
debt for Intrepid somewhere between 100 and 140 million dollars. Now the texts
$140 million.
mostly show two businessmen trying to convince each other to invest or to pay back loans,
Yeah.
with Karamanis becoming increasingly hostile as it begins to become clear that he's not getting his returns.
Yeah, you can see very clearly. Well, I guess, okay, that's all on one day.
But there is one
Uh-huh.
person who we haven't heard from yet in this story.
Is the guy
And that
put
is,
in
of
$80 million?
course, Stephen. When we last left this
Oh,
story,
yeah, there's
it
that
was
too.
with a promise from Stephen
Yeah.
Sharif. He intended to
explain
file
more.
legal action
Exactly.
and hoped that that would give everyone, quote, a better understanding of what happened. And
Yeah.
as of Valentine's Day, he's filed as well. Now, Sharif is suing Intrepid and their current board, led by Robert Dawson, plus Dawson's company, TFE Games Holding, which now controls Ashes of Creation. He's suing to stop them from selling the IP and the assets, to undo the foreclosure that transferred ownership, and to remove the board entirely. And here's his account of how things got to this point. It begins, of course, with the 2017 Kickstarter, and we learned that Intrepid was running on debt from day one. That basically means investor loans that would convert to equity or would have to be repaid. Now, Sharif
I
was
feel like that also could it could make it seem like that if there's like a lawsuit for the other investors and he's misleading people, telling them that he invested into it himself, and if that's actually not true, like I feel like that's kind of a really big deal. That's a
CEO,
huge
but
big
he
deal.
was not a shareholder. And Moore sat on the board. Now, by 2020, they secured a $6 million loan with
Alright. Let's go.
and Moore sat on the board. Now, by 2020, they secured a $6 million loan with Commerce West Bank, with Moore guaranteeing that loan and the company's IP being used as collateral. Now, in 2021, Sharif is introduced to Dawson, who then spends the next 4 years putting money into Intrepid. But in 2023, Sharif alleges that Dawson talked him out of selling the game for millions to a major developer, allegedly
Why would they do
Riot
that?
Games. That's
Riot
according
was gonna
to
buy
Paramount.
it?
Now that shifted things, and
Wait a
as
minute,
this
so
account of
Riot
things
was
goes,
gonna buy
What the
Ashes of Creation?
fuck?
That's fucking insane.
That's
Dawson
insane,
then realized
actually.
how valuable this game could be, but
An
also
MMO?
that he wouldn't be able to
Riot
turn as quick
MMO?
a profit as he had hoped. And from there, Dawson allegedly began pushing for
It would make
more
sense though,
shares.
because they're
And
like
the
live
alleged examples are
service.
rather striking,
And yeah,
commanding a warrant
like they
granting
said, it actually
10%
would have been
of the
nice
company
because
for
then they would
$10,
have been able to
or
put money into it.
cost equity options on
'Cause
his debt.
Riot
Those
is
are
literally
mildly
cash
fairly,
cows.
bold asks. Now, why would Sharif and the board agree to this? Well, the claim here is that Dawson threatened them, that he threatened to cut off payroll, to sue the company, and to financially ruin Sharif, or even to physically harm him. And Sharif claims that this took a serious personal toll. And I read a quote: an extreme health crisis, including a hypertensive emergency and acute kidney failure, hospitalization, and vision loss from blood pressure complications,
What the
including muscular edema.
What
That
the
is
fuck?
quite horrible. So you can see as we go through Sharif's filing here that
damn.
it's really quite rough sounding.
This is
now,
insane.
Here's where it gets interesting, because in May of 2024, it seems that something happened. But here, the filing is redacted. But it seems what happens is that Dawson ends up in control. He ends up being
This is one hell of a rabbit hole. It sure is.
largest shareholder, largest debtor, and the person running the finances and the board. He then forces Moore off, appoints a new CFO, and requires Moore to transfer his shares to Sharif. Now, Sharif retains creative control, but the threats then continue. Dawson and his deputies, quote, frequently threatened to harm Stephen and his loved ones physically if Stephen did not comply with his demands.
Wait, what?
And most importantly...
So this guy was threatening to beat the shit out of Stephen?
Dawson secured all of his debt against the assets of Intrepid. But the story's not over, it keeps on going. By September 2024, he's chair of the board, he's directing his CFO to open new bank accounts, and by August of 2025...
Honestly, this
he's
alpha
appointed
has
the
way
rest
more
of the
content
board,
than
and Stephen Sharif
any
claims
other
that he is instructed
alpha I've ever
not
seen.
to publicize this. So
Like
not
that
to publicize anything
SCP
about the board.
5K game.
Now, that's...
This is way better.
What the fuck, man?
It's not at least a bunch of custom assets. This is,
to launch on
or
Steam,
no,
and
it
the CFO
is
tells
custom
Commerce
assets,
West
like
Bank
ground up
that the
type shit,
income from this
and
Steam
it's
release
like a
will
custom
cover their
mechanic,
outstanding balance.
But I thought it was like millions of dollars.
Sharif,
physics
central claim
simulation.
No way.
is that all of this was deliberate, that Dawson was engineering
Like, yeah,
an
the character
unfault
looks like
so
shit,
that
but it's all
TFE,
custom.
his company, could seize the assets that he had just secured his debts against. And here's how that plays out. Valve refused to use the new Dawson-controlled accounts for payouts. Then January has things speed up, where on the 7th, Dawson then moves the beneficiary of all of his debts to TFE, which is the other company. On the 14th, he tells investors he has a plan to fix the debts, to foreclose on Intrepid, and to secure enough capital to release Ashes of Creation September 2026.
September?
There's a
yeah,
mega
fucking
ramp.
right. Oh my god, there's no way that would have happened. So basically, this guy took a bunch of investment from this person, and then he got browbeat into giving this person more power, and then this person made them put the game on Steam because they thought that it would speedrun them being able to basically recover their assets and their money back. I mean, I don't know. I mean, like, again, all of this is, I mean, this is what Steven's saying, right? So who knows?
Is likely the original plan to lay off most of the staff and then to continue development that we discussed in our previous coverage of this story. Now, Sharif then supposedly spoils this, where on the 15th, he tells Commerce West Bank what's up, and they issue a default statement on their loan. Dawson then follows through on the 16th. Intrepid defaults, and all the assets go to TFE via a, quote, private sale with no notice to other creditors. Sharif then resigns following multiple attempts to stop all of this, and he claims there was
crazy that happened in January. I feel like that happened like 2 weeks ago. Shit just happens so fast now. Like, I feel like all the time there's like news, like crazy things that are happening constantly, like every day nowadays.
Board meeting on the 30th that had witnesses suggesting a plan to make him the fall guy, and this plan was already in the works because the CFO had filed false documents with the California Registry, and those are the documents that we showed you in our last video. Now, the warn notice is then filed on the 31st. Staff are all axed on the 2nd. Sharif alleges that this was because the $5 million that Valve were meant to send for early access sales was in fact intercepted by Commerce West Bank because Dawson did not control those finances. Valve then suspended trading with Intrepid on...
Can you imagine them having Steam having to deal with this shit? Oh my god.
The 3rd, and TFE are allegedly
trying to, like,
offering
steal the
former
money from
employees
each other?
money to get access to the game, and they're doing
They'd
it.
be like laughing at it. I
mean,
would.
I don't know. Like,
I know
again,
I would.
this is-
I'd be like, what the
this
fuck
is
are
one of
these
those things where it's like,
rats doing?
I bet everybody probably engaged in an element of bad faith behavior. Who engaged in more bad faith behavior? Who really is the worst bad actor? That's up for the courts to decide whether fraud was committed or anything else. Like, that's not that's out of my pay grade. I have no idea.
Whilst they're trying to line up buyers for it. As for Stephen Sharif's defense, well, he denies all the accusations of misleading investors, of misappropriating funds, the whole lot. Of course, TFE and at least one of his other investors disagree with that.
Of course he
Thus
didn't
far,
do it.
in this video, we have seen the core arguments from the core parties. You have to remember, this is people's charitable accounts of themselves and uncharitable accounts of all the other people in the situation, because everyone is ultimately trying to win their lawsuit. And that means you should treat these as narratives that people are putting out there, and we just have not went through the full legal process to untangle what is actually happening here. And of course, the hope is that that legal process would actually be useful. And that would be because of things like the discovery process, where documentation is...
I mean, if they go through the text messages and the communications, like, this is over. Like, they're going to immediately figure it out. And I think that it could be a case where, like, really, it's a case where, like, there are no winners, right? There's just, like, who loses more.
legally required.
It's a good chance.
It's gonna be like that.
Now, with
Who
that said,
loses more? Because
let me
they've all
boil this
fucking
down
put
into the core stuff to remember
all this
about
shit
what's going
into
on
it,
with this game.
and they're
The common
trying to
thread here is
fight
kinda
over the
simple.
scraps
It's that
now.
Intrepid was a company that just kept wheeling and dealing to keep its lights on right up to the very end. And from the framing of Karmanis and
my God,
Dawson,
what is
they are
this?
heroes who try to salvage the
I've
game
never seen
from,
this
quote,
spawn before.
insane pathological
What's this
narcissists
spawn
who
called?
would have never
Knuckle.
released anything
Oh,
and
wow.
I suppose would have kept flipping off funds from the game into houses and lifestyle and all that. From Stephen Sharif's perspective, he is the victim of an abusive group of investors who schemed for years
And they
to
said they were
benefit
gonna beat him
themselves
up.
at the expense of the developers, the players, and of course, himself.
Do we
Yeah, I thought
believe
about
him?
messaging Steven and being like, bro, like, I'm sorry to see what happened with the game, but, like, honestly, this stuff is just, like, it's just been, like, so complex, I just, like, assumed he wouldn't even reply. I was gonna be like, sorry to see what happened with the game. You know, I think that we were all pretty excited for it. But, yeah, I mean, that's it. These types of shareholder derivative cases usually take 3 to 5 years. Oh, God. Well, hey, at least it's going to take less time than the game would take to come out, right?
Right? Who's wrong? We cannot say right now. Do expect
He's
that
actually
almost
right, though.
everyone
Of
will
course.
come off worse than their own account
reply for
of
liability
themselves.
reasons.
That's how
Yeah,
these
exactly.
things tend to go. But basically, the court battles to decide who's right and who's wrong are only just beginning. There will be more updates on this channel as it develops. And if the complete waste
did
of
they add
potential
more
of this really
spawns?
gets
What
you
the fuck?
activated,
Oh
well, check out
my.
this video next.
Yes.
Point about PlayStation.
Oh, it was so
Because,
sad to
boy.
see
man,
that.
some
Yeah.
potential has been
Off
squandered.
by
It's awful. Let me link you guys this video. This is a good video. I didn't know anything about these new lawsuits. I had no idea about this. This is the first time I'm looking at it or seeing it or anything. And I'm not that surprised, but at the same time, it's quite disappointing, isn't it? It's very disappointing. I hope Nart comes back. He has no content now. Yeah, I guess not, right?
I may not be tall, but I have played every Resident Evil game. Well, mostly. I've played pretty much every unique Resident Evil game. I played them all back to back over the course of like a month and a half for the sake of tier listing every Resident Evil game in the franchise, getting prepared for Resident Evil Requiem, which I just now finished. So naturally the question on everyone's mind, Charles, how big can you smile? And now with that question answered, next, you're probably wondering, was the game good? Yes. Yes, it was. And after having played through nearly every Resident Evil game ever made, I feel like I can confidently say I know ball. I feel like I know Resident
knows
Evil
balls.
like Elon Musk knows ketamine. So, when I say what I'm about to say here, just know, this means something, man. I think Resident Evil Requiem is a top 5 Resident Evil game. I'm saying it. I'm putting it right there. I'm putting it out there in the open. You can't take it back. Can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. It is an incredible game, actually.
So the
And what
guy
I
went
find
here
extremely
and then
impressive is
just
that
did
this
this.
franchise has been around for nearly 3 decades, and yet they are still able to make new games in this franchise that feel fresh and fun. Like, you would expect a franchise that has this many games, like 30-something unique games and like 100-something like ports and fucking Zeebo shit and whatever else they have for Resident Evil, like Java games and all that, you would expect by now it to be beyond milked dry. Just no meat left on the bones, them titties, them melons, vanquished, devoid of substance. Yet somehow, with Resident Evil, they are still producing very high-quality games. They had a very bumpy road there for a little while, like a rough patch around Resident Evil 6. Good heavens. Trust me, I know, they really stunk it up there for a while. But once RE7 rolled around, that was literally the fucking cure to the T-virus that was the Resident Evil 6 fucking plague that basically ruined the franchise there for a little while. 7 pioneered a new breath of life into this franchise, which was the first-person horror intense stakes. And then they've built upon it, and Resident Evil Requiem marries that.
Which,
gameplay
speaking of, I probably
with
kind of
the
want to go
iconic,
finish 7
timeless classic game
because I'm
play
almost
of the
done.
action-oriented Resident Evil 4 formula. It takes both of these elements, builds upon them, and makes
Which I need to play Resident Evil 4. Which makes me sad that he ruined that now.
The new Super Strike is just overrated. Yeah, the magnetic switches are very cool, and the skates are improved, but besides that, it's just basically a super light. It has the same shape, same mushy side buttons, worst weight distribution, and the same scroll wheel that breaks after 1 month, so you're paying almost $200 for magnetic switches that only make you slightly better. The new Super Strike is just overrated. Yeah, the magnetic switches are very cool.
What'd they
The
say?
preliminary report on the Greg Biffle plane crash was just released today, and this changes everything regarding what some people
1
may have
month
thought
ago as
caused
well.
this terrible tragedy to happen. That's why we're going to talk about what's in the report and go over the facts. I'm Hoover, and welcome to your pilot debrief. All right, jumping right into things, this is the preliminary report that was just released earlier today regarding November 257 Bravo Whiskey, a Cessna Citation 550 that was involved in an accident near Statesville, North Carolina on December 18th at 10:15 Eastern Standard Time. The pilot and 6 passengers were fatally injured. According to the NTSB, the aircraft was positioned on the south parking ramp for passenger loading and pre-flight. Ground personnel reported that the aircraft was fully fueled prior to the flight, and the cockpit voice recorder audio began recording the accident flight at 09:44:21. Now, we're going to see a lot more details from the cockpit voice recorder as we go through this report. But right now, we know that the CVR confirmed the airline transport rated pilot was seated in the left seat. The pilot's adult son, who held a private pilot certificate with a single engine land and an instrument rating, was a passenger in the right seat, and a rear seat passenger with a private pilot certificate and ratings for multi-engine land, instrument airplane, and rotorcraft helicopter was positioned near the cockpit in the cabin.
So, is that an easy way to get like flight hours as like someone who can't fly? Just sit with a bunch of pilots in a cockpit. And never fly the plane, but mark it as flight hours.
Area. So we've got the pilot that's rated to fly the aircraft is in the front left seat where he's supposed to be. He's got his son in the right seat, and then you've got Greg Biffle on the back. Now, if we go further into the report, we can see that the pilot flying the aircraft had type ratings for multiple different kinds of aircraft, and that's because he used to fly for the airlines. Those type
Because Greg Biffle probably has a fucking pilot license too. $737. I mean, you can fly that.
type ratings included one for the CE-500, which is the type rating that he needed to fly the Cessna Citation 550. However, as part of that CE-500 type rating, he had the limitation CE-500 second in command required. Now, I don't know personally if the pilot's son knew that his dad had that limitation on his type rating, and I certainly don't know if Greg Biffle knew about that limitation. However, I can almost guarantee you that the pilot who got the rating knew about the limitation because those limitations are spelled out to you when you get your type rating, because they're going to talk about them and they're going to talk about what you might need
So
to
he
do
lied,
to get those
basically.
restrictions or those limitations removed from your type rating. That being said, we might not ever understand why the pilot chose to operate the aircraft, even though he didn't have a fully qualified second in command individual sitting in the right seat next to him. However, what we do know is the weather, and that's what we're going to talk about next.
Well, that's one thing.
According to the report, the Statesville Automated Weather Observing System reported at 9:45 that the visibility was 10 miles with the ceiling 3,900 foot broken and 4,800 feet overcast. And then about
Also-
9 minutes later at 9:54,
This was a month ago, so we're like fucking really late on this.
they reported visibility of 10 miles with 3,900 foot scattered clouds and a ceiling of 5,000 feet overcast. The reason why this matters is because this is what the pilots are hearing on the radio when they're in the cockpit and going through their pre-flight procedures and they're getting the engine started. So when they hear 3,900 foot scattered with 5,000 foot broken clouds, it really doesn't sound that bad, and that's why what they did next is starting to make sense. According to the report, engine start was initiated using onboard battery power, and following an initial unsuccessful start of the left engine, both engines were started at about 09:53. Now, because the NTSB doesn't provide any further details about that issue with the left engine, it sounds to me like it's unrelated to the reason why they crashed, but we'll get into more of those details in a minute. For right now, we know that they taxied out at 09:59, they crossed the runway at midfield, and then taxied to the approach end of runway 10. During taxi, the pilot and the two pilot-rated passengers discussed that a thrust reverser indicator light for an unspecified engine was inoperative, but that the thrust reverser for the affected engine was working properly. Okay, what they're saying is that at some point, maybe when they were doing some of their before takeoff checks, the pilots noticed that one of the thrust reverser lights wasn't working. But the NTSB report made it sound like that they did whatever appropriate checks they needed to verify that the thrust reverser was working, even though they didn't say which engine that was. Next, the aircraft took off VFR about 10:06, and the pilot intended to activate an IFR flight plan once they got airborne. They were also able to confirm that the pilot performed the takeoff and departure while his son ran the checklist and talked on the radio. However, during the takeoff roll, the rear passenger commented that the left engine was producing more power than the right, and there may have been a faulty gauge, but the pilot continued the takeoff. All right, I want to pause for a second because there's two things that we need to talk about. First of all, I want to point out that the NTSB didn't mention the pilots conducting any briefings regarding what to do for emergencies during takeoff. Now, that doesn't mean that the pilots didn't do them, it's just not talked about in the report. And the reason why this is important is because when you have two pilots sitting up front, you want to be really clear about who is doing what if you have an emergency on takeoff and what your expectations are as the pilot in command flying the aircraft, especially if you have a third pilot sitting behind you who can possibly help you out. The second thing that we need to talk about is their decision to take off VFR and get an IFR clearance after they got airborne, but I want to be clear when I say that they were perfectly legal to do so. And if the weather was being reported as scattered at 3,900 and broken at 5,000, it seems reasonable for them to make that decision. However, in my opinion, you never know if ATC is going to be able to give you that clearance right away. So I think if there's a chance that you're going to climb into the clouds or maybe terrain clearance is going to be an issue, you can always call to get that IFR clearance while you're still on the ground. That's one less thing to worry about when you get airborne. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because I think this tragedy is a great example of how a series of decisions that seemed reasonable at the time were actually slowly erasing the margin for safety. But now that we know about what happened before takeoff, it's time to talk about after they got airborne. This was made using the publicly available ADS-B data, and even though the aircraft didn't have a flight data recorder, the preliminary GPS data showed the airplane made a climbing left turn following takeoff. At 10:07, the pilot commented that he would remain VFR until they received their IFR clearance, and at 10:08, the airplane had turned about 180 degrees and attained an altitude of about 2,200 feet MSL, and then the airplane continued to turn left and began to descend. The right seat passenger tried to contact air traffic control and activate their IFR flight plan 3 times, but was unsuccessful due to the controller's workload. Okay, I think this is just one more hole in the Swiss cheese model because my guess is that they started descending because of the weather and they were just trying to stay below the clouds. Because the truth is that even though the weather broadcast 12 minutes before they took off said that the ceiling was 5,000 feet broken, according to the METAR report at 10:15, which was about 9 minutes after they got airborne, the visibility was 5 miles with heavy drizzle and the ceiling was broken at 1,200 feet, broken at 2,200 feet, and overcast at 5,000 feet. That's a big change in just 20 minutes, and I think it just goes to show you how rapidly the weather conditions might have been changing. So now you're airborne and you're having trouble picking up your IFR clearance, and you've got to find a way to stay below the clouds and work around the weather to stay legal. In fact, according to the report, around 10:09, there was a discussion between the pilot and the rear passenger about climbing to a higher altitude, even though they were technically required to remain VFR, because the data showed that the aircraft had descended to about 1,580 feet MSL, so the pilot initiated a climb, and that's when the rear passenger noted a difference between the left and right engine temperature indications. However, there were no further discussions about the engine instruments throughout the remainder of the recording, and the autopilot was disengaged for some reason at 10:10:02. What's interesting though is that during the climb, the pilot made some remarks indicating that his altitude indicator wasn't working properly, and that additional left side flight instruments may not have been working properly. And the NTSB also pointed out that the Garmin stopped recording airspeed and heading data around that same time as well. I think this is the point where everything is starting to fall apart because you're a little task saturated, possibly climbing through the weather, even though you don't have an IFR clearance yet. Now you're starting to lose some of your instruments, and either the autopilot isn't working or you've got it disengaged. And this is the point where having a fully qualified second in command pilot sitting next to you would probably be helpful. Unfortunately, what we know is that according to the report, at 10:11,
probably just
control
sat
of the
there
aircraft was transferred to the right seat passenger
doing almost
at
nothing.
an altitude of 4,500 feet. And no comments were recorded during the remainder of the CVR to indicate that there were any malfunctions with the right side cockpit flight instruments. So basically what it sounds like is that the son sitting in the right seat possibly had a good set of instruments to fly off of, but the dad sitting in the left seat might be dealing with some sort of malfunctions or partial panel situation. I also want to point out that beginning at 10:10:14, which is right after the autopilot disengaged, the CVR stopped recording the left seat microphone and audio panel for the next 3 minutes and 55 seconds. Then at 10:11:04, right after the controls were transferred to the sun, there was a severe degradation in the CVR audio quality in all channels for 3 minutes and 5 seconds. So obviously at this point something has gone wrong, but we don't know what it is. What we do know, based on the ADSB data, is that when the dad transferred the controls to the son, he had already started this left-hand turn. But because of the temporary loss of audio, we're missing some of the crucial evidence that we need to understand what drove them to make the decision to turn back to the airport instead of just declaring an emergency, talking to ATC, and getting through the weather, or at least getting to a safe altitude and getting stabilized so they could work through the issue. Because at this point, there's no indication of an engine failure, an engine fire, or anything else catastrophic going on with the aircraft that would force them to turn back to the airport so quickly. Especially because the report said that there was no further discussion about the engine instruments for the rest of the recording. So that leads me to believe that the pilots were focused on something other than the engines for the rest of the flight. Either way, now that we know more about what happened after they took off, it's time to see what really caused them to crash.
Uh-oh.
According to the investigation, around 10:13, at an altitude of about 1,870 feet MSL, the pilot and both pilot-rated passengers said they could see the ground, and the audio supported the fact that the pilot had resumed control of the airplane at that time, and he requested the flaps to be extended, and then a few seconds later, he called for the landing gear. However, even though the gear was extended, the gear indicator lights weren't illuminated, and the right seat passenger made a radio call saying, "We're having some issues here." Hopefully at this point things are starting to make sense, because it sounds to me like the dad was having the son fly the aircraft when they were in the weather, probably because the son's instruments were working and the dad was trying to figure out what was going on with the aircraft. But as soon as they could see the ground, the dad took the controls again. However, it's also starting to sound like they're dealing with some sort of electrical malfunction, because in addition to the issue with the instruments on the left side, you've got the gear lights not working, the GPS device isn't recording stuff, and then the CVR audio is cutting out. And then at 10:14:05, the rear passenger asked the pilot about power to the alternator, and even though the aircraft isn't equipped with an alternator, what he probably meant was a generator or at least something electrical. Then about 4 seconds later, the audio quality returned on all of the recorded CVR audio channels, and after that, the pilot made a comment indicating that was the problem. However, he didn't specify what the problem was or what actions were taken to correct it. Also, there were no additional discussions regarding the pilot's flight instrumentation for the remainder of the recording. Now, if we go back to the ADS-B data, we know that the CVR audio quality returned when they were right about here. And I talked about this in my other video when this tragedy happened, how it looked like they were trying to set up for a normal left-hand pattern, but they got really close to the runway. So now they're taking this cutaway to try and gain some spacing for the turn back to the airport. But keep in mind, they're only about 500 feet above the ground now, and the clouds are around 1,200 feet, and you've got heavy drizzle that's limiting your visibility. According to the report, the Garmin recording of the airspeed data returned at 10:14:12 as they were making the left base turn, and they rolled out of the turn onto runway heading about 10:14:50 at 1,240 feet MSL and 114 knots. But what's interesting is that the audio indicated that the
pretty goodly lined up there.
right seat passenger visually acquired the runway
I mean,
and
not completely
provided
lined up,
directions to
but-
the pilot as to where it was. And then at 10:15, the pilot said that he saw the runway.
I feel like
The
I could
reason I'm
land
bringing
that
this
in
up is because
Microsoft
it
Flight
sounds
Sim.
like it's possible that the pilot was having a hard time seeing the runway based on the weather conditions. But at this point, everything seemed like it was still going to work out. They've got the runway in sight, and this should be a normal landing. However, what happened was that the airspeed and altitude continued to decrease from the time the aircraft was aligned on final approach pretty much until they crashed, with the exception being that the airspeed increased to 107 knots, then decreased to 93 knots during the final 5 seconds of data. And that brings us to the part where we need to talk about what they found in the wreckage.
Oh no. Bomb.
According to the investigation, the first point of impact was the first light station that was part of the runway alignment indicator lights, located almost 1,400 feet from the runway threshold, and 2 light bulbs were broken off. The aircraft struck the second light station and some trees, crashing into the ground near the airport perimeter fence, and the debris path continued until the main wreckage came to rest on the runway blast area, about 400 feet short of the runway threshold, and here's what they found.
They almost.
First of all, both engines were attached and the thrust reversers were found in the stowed position, and there was no evidence of an uncontained engine failure with either engine. And even though the NTSB didn't elaborate further on that, the facts seem to reflect that an engine failure was not the reason why they crashed. Next, examination of the cockpit throttle quadrant found both thrust levers to be in the full forward position and both reverse throttle levers in the down position, consistent with being stowed. Okay, now this is the part where I want to be careful with what I say because it's important not to speculate. The goal is to use the facts to learn what we can to prevent future tragedies. And when the NTSB said that the thrust levers were in the full forward position, some people might assume that there was an engine problem because if you've got full thrust, then there's no reason why they ever should have lost airspeed and crashed like that. However, when you take a step back and look at the bigger picture, you can see how a pilot could easily become task saturated trying to handle the aircraft in challenging weather conditions with limited visibility, possibly without the use of some of his instruments, and maybe you pull back the throttles to get the airspeed under control as soon as you get lined up on final, but you're so focused on the runway that you forget about the power setting, and when you finally realize that you're too slow, you try to use full power, but now it's too late and 7 people are dead. To be perfectly clear though, this is not what the NTSB said in their preliminary report. However, I'd argue that it's a reasonable explanation for what might have happened that would explain why they got too slow and why the thrust levers were still found in the full forward
And why
position.
they weren't even
We obviously need to wait for the NTSB to finish
like on the fucking runway.
their investigation, but in the meantime, I'd argue that if they had a pilot that was fully qualified to perform second in command duties, sitting
He had to be flustered. Yeah, that makes more sense. Because bro didn't even like land it. Good.
in that right seat, then perhaps the outcome would have been different. Either way, hopefully at least we can all agree that this was a terrible tragedy that never should have happened. And the goal of the debrief is to talk about the things that are sometimes difficult to hear when we look at the facts. Because when it comes to this tragedy, even though
Bro's
the
trying to
pilots
get his
might have been
son
making
fucking
decisions that they felt
extra
were
flight
reasonable at that
hours.
time, they were secretly eroding their margins until there was no
Biffle's
margin left.
fucking
I hope this
expense.
debrief has been helpful, and if it has, then be sure to watch another video on the channel to learn more, and I'll see you on the next debrief.
I'm not trying to sound like a hater here, but this whole CSGO is back thing is really weird to me. Counter-Strike just released an update that just made the game a separate entity on Steam, and everyone's losing their shit. I have no idea why. Like, here is the game, and you could always access this piece of Counter-Strike through CS2 before. I don't know why everyone's losing their mind over this. Can someone explain to me? Because usually I feel like I have a good grasp of why people are happy about certain things. But with this, it's still an offline version of what it used to be. It's very useless. I don't understand the hype. I'm not trying to sound like a hater here, but
Did you know there's a small chance your eyebrows will never grow back?
What the fuck did you just say to me?
Look it up. Ask Bernard.
Bernard, if I shave my eyebrows off, is there a small chance they never grow back?
Typically, eyebrows do grow back, but hair follicles can be a little unpredictable. It's rare that they wouldn't return, but things like age, health conditions, or overplucking could slow things down. But don't stress. Almost always, they'll make a comeback.
Almost always.
So, Bernard, when you say almost always, what the fuck does that even mean?
I get it. Almost always sounds annoyingly vague. What I mean is that the vast majority of people will see it after a shave.
Yeah, okay, I understand that, Bernard.
The
What
vast
if I'm not in the vast
majority.
majority of people and my eyebrows never grow back? Because you said 2 to 4 weeks.
Why am I subscribed to this? Who is this?
This kid is about to prove this trend completely wrong. A lot of viral videos.
Unsubscribe. Fuck you. I am not. I don't like that.
It is that time of year again, boys. Screen Ear is coming back to the Big Apple for Can Jam New York City 2026. Come on down to try out our existing models, the Project Meta, the Daybreak, the Protocol Max, but more importantly, come on down to try out our upcoming stuff, the Reference, as well as Project Monolith. Come on down to the New York Marriott Marquis on the 7th and 8th of March, the Saturday and Sunday, to booth A8. Try out our stuff, form your own opinions, and again, for those of you who don't like any of my things, this is your chance to say it straight to my face. I'll see you guys this weekend, and don't die. Fuck off.
Fuck off. I love him.
Channel 5 News, what's up?
What happens when you take the Block 17 to an actual indoor shooting range? Well, I gave one to my friend Deskpop to find out. And that pistolite, yeah, that wasn't my idea.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Good. Just looking for a lane to shoot on.
Sweet. Sounds like a plan. Do you have eyes and ear protection already?
I need eyes.
Okay.
I have ears. No targets.
No targets.
Alright, you guys allow big guns there, right?
Oh yeah, we shoot 50 BMG here, so that's no problem.
That's what I have for sure.
Right on, man. Yeah, I'm excited to hear that. Well, cool. All right, just have to scan a driver's license from you real quick. $10.21.
Real excited to hear that.
The hell is that?
Is that?
What happens when you take the Block 17 to an actual indoor shooting range? Well, I gave one to my friend Deskpop to find out. And that pistolite, yeah, that wasn't my idea.
There are times when upgrading your PC can actually make it worse. For instance, not every CPU is optimized for the same tasks. This 9950X has more cores, higher clock speeds, and a higher price tag compared to this 9800X 3D. And yet, this one outperforms this one when it comes to gaming, thanks to its 3D V-cache. Another area you can run into trouble is memory. This 6400 megatransfer per second stick sounds faster than this 6000 megatransfer per second stick, but the devil's in the details. This one runs at CL36 and this one runs at CL30, meaning that the lower latencies of this slower stick more than make up for the difference in speed. Another common mistake is buying too much memory. This one has twice the capacity of this one, but it runs at a slower speed, meaning that I'll get better performance in my games or any applications that don't need more memory from the lower capacity kit. It's important to look beyond the surface of the spec sheet whenever you're shopping for hardware. There are times when upgrading your PC can actually make it worse. For instance, not every CPU is optimized.
I've never seen anything like
You ought to
Can I make a
gay.
video on it?
You absolutely cannot talk about it on camera.
Oh, all right. Well, I'll shoot it. Going hot. That technology is crazy. How cool. I've never seen anything like this. Can I make a video on it?
You absolutely cannot talk about it on camera.
Oh, all right. Well, I'll shoot it. Going hot.
No one. We ran out of Oh, there you go.
How's it
That's
going, man?
retarded.
Good.
How's your Pokemon collection?
Expensive.
What's the most expensive one you got?
Right now, that.
What's that one for?
7.
You sell those every now and then?
Yeah.
So where do you get them? Just in shows like this? Or
Yeah, people trade them to me, but majority of these I've just bought from people that are trading them in.
How big's your
What?
budget?
I don't know, man. Whatever it is, it is.
What did he say?
It might not be that big. I love that question. How big's your budget? You pull these out. Oh my God.
I have 65 packs
Can I
of
see it?
those. Yeah. And I have a bunch of those too. I bought them and forgot I had them.
What are these going for?
I got about $80,000 worth. Nani? Yeah, I bought 72 of them in '99. Forgot I had them. Found them about 8 months ago.
Are you trying to get out of these for cash?
Yeah. I want to sell them all to one person.
You want to sell like everything to one person, or
Yes.
like your entire collection?
Yeah. Well, I have 65 of these
Yeah.
packs and only 12 of those. So.
Gotcha.
But those 65 are worth 40,000, and then these guys are worth almost 20.
I remember these as a kid, but no, I don't know. I don't know like what these go for, how to sell them, who to sell them to.
Same here. I just keep coming to shows and talking to people like you guys who know about them.
I'm sure there's somebody, like go to one of the really big shows, you'll find somebody that will buy them off you.
Cons and all that stuff.
Exactly. How's it going, man? Good.
How's your Pokemon collection?
Expensive.
What's the most
I'll take 5. Am I able to pick? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Oh, okay.
that's not bad.
That's a good hit.
Canada's Tier 1 Special Forces unit was finally caught on camera. Earlier this year, when gang violence in Haiti reached dangerous levels, thousands of armed gang members stormed the capital's streets, looting and rioting. In an effort to
Canada
protect the
Special
Canadian
Forces,
embassy,
you
the
don't wanna
Canadian
fuck
government
with
deployed a small
them.
number of JTF-2 assaulters, a unit often described as a hybrid of Delta Force and the FBI's hostage rescue team. Notorious for operating in secrecy, JTF-2 was seen with their modern, top-of-the-line gear, such as the Faro Concepts plate carrier, Ops Core helmets, and SIG MCX rifles, interestingly equipped with 40-round magazines. magazines, a trend more Western special forces have been adopting. Meanwhile, the rest of the Canadian military is still using outdated gear, like World War II era Browning high-power pistols, and possibly one of the worst tactical vests ever made. Canada's Tier 1 Special Forces unit was finally caught on camera earlier this year when gang violence in Haiti
Sick.
reached dangerous levels.
They talk shit, but you know, our tier 1 fuckers are basically the same as US. Yeah.
Breaking news, the Israeli Air Force has just reported their first air-to-air kill against a manned aircraft. An F-35 has reportedly shot down a Yak-130. This is the first shoot-down in history of a manned fighter by an F-35. It reportedly happened over the skies of Tehran. Beyond that, we don't know much, but hopefully they'll release footage of it soon. Breaking news, the Israeli Air Force has just reported
Yesterday,
their first
there was
air-to-air
like a
kill against a manned aircraft. An F-35
16 air-to-air, but it was like a drone kill.
So Onapixel was live once again doing a whole bunch of knife trade-ups in CS2, but this time, instead of using red skins with low floats, he used ones that were some of the highest in the world, and ended up getting this, which could sell for a surprisingly high amount.
Entering the edge zone. Here we fucking go, baby. Tip!
No.
Oh,
wait, no way.
Subo! Is that an M9? Is that a fucking paracord, bro?
Sorry,
We're gonna go
Safari?
lower. Autotronic!
Oh my god.
We're looking at a fucking paracord on Shatz's life.
Okay, my guy, do you know if Paracord has Autotronic? My guy.
So you're telling me it could be Butterfly or M9? M9? 9! Bowie? 9. No, it's M9. That shit is fucking
It's
thick.
M9, it's actually a profit for the first time.
Come on, G!
He got the #1 highest float M9 bayonet Autotronic, and if Oni wanted to sell it, he could list it for at least $4,000, or honestly probably more since it was crafted by the GOAT. So Onapixel was live once again doing a whole bunch of knife trade-ups in CS2, but this time, instead of using red skins with low
Okay,
floats,
let's see
he
if
used...
I can beat fucking Resident Evil. Some actual games. Oh fuck. Where's 7? It's not here. All right. Don't show again. Oh shit.
Joey, get your ass back to the house. I will deal with you later.
Get your ass back.
It's bad enough. You die from me. Now you're ploying against me.
Oh no. I wasn't paying attention. Okay, good. I was like, I want that go back on. Yeah. Retry. Get your ass back in that house.
Zoe, get your ass back to the house. I will deal with you later. It's bad enough. You die from me. Now you're going against me.
This is getting old, Jack.
You're part of the family now. Good sister, right on die.
No, don't kill me. Fucker. I can't see.
Don't be scared.
I hit something. Oh no. Get your ass back in the house. Dodged it. What the fuck, man?
You're gonna wish you.
Come on. Where's the other one? Right there.
Fuck you.
I don't have any more ammo. Hello?
Fuck you.
Damn it. I killed him. I used the fucking grenade launcher at a perfect time too.
Get your ass back to the
The
house.
problem is finding the fucking wounds. There's gotta be a technique to this though.
This is getting old, Jack.
Oh no.
I want to kill you.
How am I supposed to? Oh, this shit's hard as fuck.
Get your ass back to the house. I will deal with
This shit's gonna be burnt into my head. I wish she would just fucking die though.
bad enough.
Oh my god.
Now you're playing a game.
This is getting old, Jack.
Oh my god.
So little like a boy.
Uh-oh. Oh yeah, go. Okay. I'll just wait then. Oh wow. You die. You can't hit him when he's up. You can't hit it when it's down here.
You're part of the family now. Hold still.
Hit it.
That was gonna be fun.
Oh my fucking god. No biggie. Oh, I saw it right there on the tail again. A whole fucking mag. I like how you just can't get away. Like, what are you supposed to do in that situation? Like, what? Do I just sit there and take it? Like, I just keep dying.
Get your ass back to the house.
Oh, I'm tired of listening to you say this. I'm gonna get really good at this fucking eye killing though.
Not enough.
probably.
This is getting old, Jack.
Oh my god, bro. Like, I shoot 8 times. Doesn't do anything. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna just sit under you. Oh.
I'm gonna get you.
Oh no. Oh, wow. There it is. Maybe. I'm dead. Like, I don't get it. Let's make this hard as fuck. It's literally impossible.
Zoe, get your ass back to the house. I will feel
Oh, I wish you could skip this part, man. Okay, I get it. You'll deal with her later. Throw me into the fucking thing, yeah. Fucking shoot him in the face. Shoot him in the face. Like, shoot him in the face. Shoot him in the arm. Shoot him in the arm. Shoot him in the arm.
This is getting old,
Shoot
Jack.
him in the tail. Oh my god.
It's me up.
You can't like stop him from doing that. Fucking stupid. You know what? Fuck you. just hit me back to 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 back. Like, I don't know how to guarantee dodge these attacks and shit. In such a small room. This reminds me of that fucking stupid part where you have to fucking run over the guy in the garage. And there's nowhere to go. But this guy has fucking arms and you're not stuck in a armored tin, like a giant tin can. So this is worse because you're getting smashed and there's nowhere to run. You're getting forcibly hit every like fucking 3 seconds. The only thing you can do is shoot the guy. Which is, you know, good and all, but...
This is getting old, Jack.
Oh no. No, I didn't want to go on the ladder. Oh, yeah. Kill me. Stun lock me.
Zoe, get your ass back to the house. I will deal with you later.
This fucking retard. Like, where am I supposed to fucking run when he attacks? I still don't understand that part. How to dodge the attacks. Nice, good job, buddy.
This is getting old, Jack.
Check on your blood before I'm done with you. And then fix me up.
Oh my god, bro, just hit. Literally shooting you in the fucking arm, bro. But those shots are hitting. Fucking guy. Yo, oh. Can I get hit? Can I? Holy fuck. Isn't it over there, the heals? How? I'm gonna say, like, how many shots are we gonna eat here, buddy? Oh, you fucker.
Get you. I'm gonna get you.
Dude, can like you just like show me the fucking weak spot? Like I could barely see it because the fucking floor. Can you just show it to me for like 1 second? Oh my god, it showed it. And where? Now what? Oh, he's fucking doing it.
You're part of the family now.
Okay, there we go. Here we go. Oh, so you like have to hit those shots or else you're dead.
Now, I've seen everything.
Ethan, this way.
It was designed to fucking jump scare you right there. Into my camera on, but
You want me to cure him?
He's too far gone. I think you'll kill him.
and then I can get another piece from him, right?
Are you all right?
Yeah.
Come on. Mia's waiting for us.
Holy. Yo. I did it. Oh.
I had to use one of them. There's only one left.
There's only one left. There can't just be one left. What the hell are we gonna do now?
Oh shit. Dude, they have the same voice. Save your daughter. Save the daughter. I think we gotta cure Mia.
It's fine. It was foolish thinking I could escape. But Zoe... Go! Both of you just go! Come with us. I'm sure there's someone who can help.
This is my home. Apparently I belong here.
I'll send help.
Don't bother. There won't be anyone left to help!
That's fucking crazy. I knew that was gonna happen. My dumbass is like, oh, we can get another one from the fucking thing. No, that's not how this works.
Ethan? Thank you.
Who the hell else was I gonna choose?
Ethan.
It might be time to play Resident Evil 4 now, or an older one.
Mia, I know you've been through a lot. We need to talk.
Or do I finish 8
You had something to do with all this, didn't you?
instead of starting another one?
Look, I just want to know the truth.
Ethan, I honestly don't remember.
Try. Is that the boat? How the fuck did that get here? Oh, you're okay. What the hell was that?
Oh, it's the fucking dad again. Oh, it's fucking her.
Mommy. This way.
And now I'm her now. Yeah. And now I'm Zoe.
Ethan?
Uh-oh. This is... So a little bit of... So it's not over yet. I have to play this fucking part first.
Ethan? Ethan! Ah! Ethan! Ethan!
Well, Ethan's gone now. And we got no guns. All our shit is gone. The poop slop. I should probably finish 8, huh?
What was that?
This is crazy good looking. Like, look, I'm getting max FPS. Oh. Oh. Shaped like humming. Elephant foot. Oh, I could pause. I forgot about that. Okay, I think I'm gonna take a smoke break. That was fucking hectic. I want to take a smoke break after that. 1 second. don't think there's any more weed in here, so. What a surprise. I didn't think there was going to be more, but I guess it makes sense. It's not just going to end like that. Gotta, like, end the game. It doesn't just, oh, you killed a guy. Okay, end of the game. Okay. Go on here. Alrighty. That's a good weed rip. Right there. Yeah. They said in those comments, apparently when when the Canadian JTF2 comes out, like we're coming out to get shit done. Because it's not like because we're not like America. We don't have like super fucking abundant rich ass military. We're fucking brokies. Right? We're kind of like Russia, but a bit less but I guess a lot less shittier than Russia, but still shit like that. Like we're old. We got old equipment, but then you look at JTF2 and it's like top of the line, basically US Navy SEAL fucking all the crazy fucking private contractor shit that they use, we use too, right? Like you said, MCXs, that's basically the same thing that they were using on the American thing. Pretty sure anyway. Fuck. I can't believe I actually fucking did it. Oh, fuck. Oh, retry? No. Not gonna lie, this should creep me out more than it is right now, but probably gonna be a jump scare here. So I called it, just saying. No jump scare. Probably would have scared the shit out of me anyways. Oh my god. Fucking. Huh?
They're dead. They're all dead. What is it? The engine room.
Scared me.
Killed them all.
That was like perfect timing. As soon as the door closed.
Is there any weapons on this ship? I don't know. But look, let's go this way. Maybe we can get out of here.
Oh. Which way do I go? Yo, thanks, man. I'm not gonna add you on Discord, no. Oh, fuck. Crew register. Oh, we're on a boat. Oh. That did scare me, by the way, kind of. I think I gotta go to the washroom. 1 second. Bad timing, but yeah. I should make an example out of that guy. You know, don't ask instantly to get that thing on Discord or you will be banned. it wasn't for my super strike, I wouldn't have beat Dad. Would have got beat by my dad over and over. Not gonna lie. Also, it's fucked how certain parts of him like just survive over and over. Like you shoot him 90 times. It's gonna fucking happen again. Yo. Kind of a vibe though. Is that this fucking thing? Oh. Yo, who's eating? I'm hungry, bro. Don't eat on me. Alright. Going for it.
Settle down, little girl. Settle
Oh, that fucking scared me a little bit. Oh no.
Are you remembering?
What? What are you?
You said we could be a family.
What are you talking about?
You said!
Wait! Please.
I'm tired of waiting.
Gnarly. Do you get to keep it? Oh. I thought that was like... Where's my gun? Where's my gun? Gun. Hello. Oh, see ya. Hmm. Oh. Now I can finally push towards. These fucking pussies. Come here. I know I'm a woman, but watch me shoot you in the head. Yeah. I'm the best woman shooter there was. You can call me John Dict. Get it? Because I'm a girl. Got dicked by John. Huh. It's like I'm playing Counter-Strike. Tap, 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 tap. Tap, strafe, tap. Huh.
Watch it.
What? Why?
You need to remember, so we can be a family.
Doesn't let you aim at her.
Alan, you're getting worse.
She must have infected me during the attack. And I'm too far gone anyway. But it serves me right. It's my fault she got out.
Yeah, it is your fault. But that doesn't mean I'm gonna let you die.
She didn't attack you?
It's part of her imprinting protocol. I can't believe this is happening.
Here. Take it. It has her tissue samples. You find her. You fix this.
Okay, Evie. Where are you?
What? Get a PP Bison? Special operations.
She's close.
The rest of the floor first. Step. Another fucking maze. I suck balls at that. Figure it out. A bit. I should probably go take a nap, honestly, because I haven't slept, but... Alright. Yeah, I'm gonna end for a bit and then I'll come back in a bit. That was pretty intense, so. Or I could just stay alive, but nah. I'm good. Cause I'm literally just gonna go lay down. Yeah. Excuse me. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for chilling. I'll be live in a bit. Sorry for abrupt stream, but at least I did stuff. Thank you guys.